We're almost at the end of the strange clusterfuck of a year that was 2025.
What a shit show.
And from where I'm standing, I think we'll see 2026 as the year of the burnout. Obviously, it's already started for a lot of people, but I'm young and I'm already completely disillusioned with what the world deems work. I didn't even stand a chance, to be honest. I figured out most of this was bullshit, or at least believed most of this was bullshit, before I even started out in the workforce, along with a pretty large portion of the younger generation.
It's bullshit!
Now you've got all these older folks starting to get really frustrated with the corporate culture they once seemed so willing to be a part of. Seeing their friends and coworkers get laid off after 20 years while their boss asks them to repost more company activity on LinkedIn. Like anybody actually gives a single shit.
Huh?
Fuck LinkedIn.
Fuck Lincoln. Whatever the fuck that means. I don't know what the fuck that, I don't know these people.
Everyone's starting to realize that they're spending their whole lives working for nothing but a paycheck, and that's all they've been doing. They went into the workforce on the back of so much promise, too. Their parents had experienced a once-in-history economic boom that created a robust middle class that still exists for them to this day. It seemed so easy for a little while to get really truly rewarded for your work. You get out what you put in.
During normal times, the story we get from elites is that anyone can become rich if you just work hard enough, and anyone who's poor, it's basically their fault.
The illusion was so strong that a whole generation, if not more, internalized their economic struggles as personal failings, believing that it's solely their fault if they weren't where they wanted to be in life. But now that our productivity can be seen to be up by over double since the time of the boomers, we can clearly see that our efforts are being siphoned to the top. In my opinion, this should be one of the major factors to explain the low morale, and I think it's something that's on people's mind a lot more, as you can see on social media.
I can't work a 9-to-5 job.
Working 12 hours a day for pennies while the owners and investors of the company make millions off your work.
We are completely divorced from the outcomes of our productivity. On top of this, modern workplace culture is completely fake and even downright demeaning. You spend all this time away from your family and away from your own life just to push up a number on somebody else's spreadsheet. And we hear this all the time, but it is crazy. A lot of this frustration, of course, this new frustration, started during the lockdowns in 2020. People who'd been in the office their whole lives got to work from home or got a little taste of freedom being laid off, and started to remember what it was actually like to spend quality time with the people that they cared about. Once you get a taste of that, it's so much harder to go back.
I don't want to leave, but I can't afford to stay, so
If everyone's honest with themselves, we're completely justified in feeling this burnout. It can be really hard to admit, especially if you spent your whole life working for something, but that's how you end up with the boomers who still believe that the American dream is alive.
And then just work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week.
What did he say?
It's hard to admit that if most of the jobs that we do disappeared tomorrow, the world would just keep turning. But that's exactly the realization that we need to have collectively, and that's a major source for the burnout that we're all feeling. The complete lack of purpose or meaning in the jobs we do. If you're working marketing for the Labubu company, you should feel burnt out. What you're feeling is a lack of purpose in the work that you've put in. All the time, all the late nights, all the dinners you've skipped. You almost have to look back and laugh to keep from crying about it at all. I've not been in the workforce that long, and it's hard to come to terms with what I've spent my time on. For the longest time, I thought the world was just doomed to be this way. I never thought we'd get to a point where I'd see enough people willing to let the system burn. But for the first time, I actually have hope, which is why I'm choosing to speak about it now. I actually think we might have a chance to pull ourselves out of this hellhole before the globalist elites can completely mop the floor with the sad, depressed burnout slop they've made humanity into. The 40-hour work week, or more like 50 hours now, is a complete scam. Especially at the white-collar gigs where you'd be lucky to find one person fully engaged for more than 4 hours a day.
I had to spend one more day pushing stuff around my desk, pretending to look busy. I'd have actually had to break down and do some real work.
This multi-generational burnout opens the opportunity to let go of all the bullshit. At least it cracks the door open. Even now, it feels like a long shot, but if we divided up all of the actual work that we need to do, like necessary infrastructure, housing, food, and healthcare, and let everything else go by the wayside, I bet we could get the work week down to like 15 hours a person, and each person's work would have a purpose and would serve the society that we are meant to be a part of, with enough stability to go around. Of course, it's not so easy when you factor in the human condition. It's really easy to try and be utopian about it. And the thought of a 15-hour work week with no fear of homelessness sounds like an absolute dream. But it would be an equally tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. And we have to realize that. It would be really hard to satisfy a shopping addiction if the kids in Bangladesh were supported enough to walk away. There would be no thirst quench for a new iPhone if we were able to shut down the cobalt mines, or at least keep them running on like 10% capacity. The endless consumerism that we're displaying now keeps these kids working in the mines. It's literally the meme. But the kids don't yearn for the mines. They yearn for food.
Around the world, 1 in 9 people don't have enough to eat.
There's a lot more standing in our way than the consumer's detrimental loss of endless consumption, though. The currently wealthy and powerful elite among us benefit greatly from how the world is currently run. And God only knows what they would do to prevent this loss of power.
Here's an eyebrow raiser. A second Boeing whistleblower, now dead after experiencing a brief illness. This comes after Joshua Dean expressed concerns over manufacturing issues with the company's 737 MAX planes.
We're witnessing the greatest transfer of wealth ever recorded in human history. And the people who have the power to change it, of course, are the people who never ever would. See, the wage trap has served as the perfect pacification mechanism for them. In the false trickle-down economy, they're the job creators and innovators, and therefore deserving of all their rewards. They create jobs that we need to survive and hold vastly more resources than those they employ, creating a power imbalance so large that most people just act like that's the way it's meant to be. That's just the natural order of things.
And that's just the way it is.
In reality, we lose an insane amount of human effort and time to this trap and collectively pretend that it needs to be this way, or at least most of us do. Those that perpetuate the necessity of these corporations and jobs do so either because they're brainwashed or because they themselves benefit from it. Not because of some grand necessity on behalf of humanity. Like, oh, we need to keep the economy growing or...
Oh no.
Tribalism and nationalism stand in our way as well. We now live in a multipolar world where it's seen that we need to keep up with all the other countries so as to not be consumed by them. We're constantly battling for first place in the arms race that is the current state of every industry. In truth, we could list 1,001 reasons why we won't ever get to a world that works in a way that makes sense. But at some point, you've got to believe that sense can be made. How is it possible that in 2025 we're still just as caught up in the trap, if not more so than before? Through all of the disinformation, the division, and all the trivial wedge issues like abortion or race issues that keep us apart. You've got to believe we can't always be so doomed to lick the boots of some corrupt system. Are we really this blindsided? In 2026, I'm predicting we'll see even more burnout as the veil of grind set begins to fall from the eyes of the wages. We can either use this burnout as a humanity-wide turning point or allow those in power to take advantage of our apathy for the world we live in. To be honest, I don't know if I can even be optimistic, but I can't see any reason not to try to do it, even if it's a 1% chance we could escape this weird trap society that we've created or that's been created for us. There's no roadmap laid out for us from here. The people who've spent their whole lives obeying orders will find it really hard to pull off the escape.
Please just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do.
Bruh.
I'm doing all I can in my own life, of course, to put the pieces together, but it's incredibly tough without a community. I was lucky to have grown up in a rural area and I know my way around some aspects of living sustainably, but I have a hell of a lot to learn, and I don't have many mentors to learn it from. You know, all I can hope to do is aspire to be a mentor for the people who come after me. I'll speak more in the future about what I think the best course of action for my family and I will be moving forward. But right now, I think the most important thing we can do is just to talk about it, to let the burnout be seen as a signal rather than something to be ashamed of, or to try and grind our way through. The real shame is in conforming with an obviously broken system.
Don't give in to the fear, Peanut. Your light is stronger than the darkness.
So please, talk to the people around you. And let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to add. And also, if you think that I'm just young and naive and stupid and blowing this all up, then feel free to chastise me there too. Thank you and good luck.